Hi, I'm Charlotte. I'm here with MarijuanaPolitics.com at the International Cannabis Conference in San Francisco, and I'm here with Earl Blumenauer, U.S. Congressman. And we're going to talk about how things are going this year. Our first question is, do you think they're going to continue to pass the Rohrabacher-Farr amendment that protects medical marijuana?
We're very optimistic that we'll be able to continue to have it in force. More and more people understand there's some pretty reckless behavior going on out there. The industry needs protection. It was passed on a bipartisan basis. We're going to fight to make sure it stays in place.
Great. And do you think there'll be any movement to create another amendment for recreational usage?
We have a series of amendments that we'll be working on. We have actually 16 different bills, a number of amendments. We're gaining more support, and we're going to try and have a wide array of protections. The broader prohibition in terms of enforcement actually got quite a bit of steam and was supported by a very conservative Republican member of Congress. I think we're on the right track.
Great. And so these other protections, what other reforms are they looking at?
Well, we're continuing to fight to make sure that the marijuana industry doesn't have to be all cash. That's dangerous and unfair. We're working to change that. We are working on repeal of 280E so that they can deduct their business expenses. We're working on research, making access for veterans for medical marijuana. We've got a wider range of initiatives that we think we're seeing some real momentum and broader support every month.
And how long do you predict that federal prohibition is going to last?
Well, I think 2016 is going to be a watershed year. If we can continue getting progress in Congress, and if the state initiatives that are going on in California and Florida, Maine, Nevada, Arizona, if these elements continue to get public support, it's going to make it, I think, inevitable that we will delist marijuana, and I think that this is something that can happen within 5 years.
That's amazing to hear. Most people are really rooting for Bernie Sanders because he's the most supportive of this movement, but you endorse Hillary Clinton, and can you talk to us about how you think she would deal with it and why she's your choice?
Well, I've met and discussed this on several occasions with Secretary Clinton. The stakes are very high in this election. We need to make sure that that we have somebody in the White House who can handle the job, can win the general election. My feeling, I've worked with Bernie for years. I like him. I like some of the things that he says. I just think Secretary Clinton is more likely to actually be able to win a general election and be able to manage the forces. But people will make their own choices. The chips will fall where they may. We want to make sure that we don't go backward with somebody in the White House who would be a problem. And I don't think either Bernie or Hillary would be a problem.
And if one of the others were elected, then what do you think would happen?
Well, I think it's just terrifying to me to think of somebody who's catering to an extreme Republican base. I mean, these are the people who gave us the war on drugs and keep fighting it. And they would probably sweep in a Congress that would be less receptive. I mean, I work very hard for this to be a nonpartisan issue. I work with people on both sides of the aisle. It shouldn't be partisan. But some of the extreme rhetoric on the part of Republican candidates playing to the most extreme elements of the base would set us back.
Great. Well, I'm glad to hear that you're optimistic about the situation.
We're working on it.
And
you bet.
Thank you so much for being here and having a second to chat with us.
My pleasure.
Thanks. Nice to meet you.